Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ricky V, and today we have episode number 3 of the Elite Fitness podcast. Today we're going to be discussing Winstrol, and you can find some of the information that I'm going to be going over today on the following URL, elitefitness.com/articles/Winstrol-Stanozolol. And if you'd like to see some more of my content, some of my other podcasts and articles, just go to www.rickyvrock.com. That's RICKY, letter V, ROCK.com, one word. And you'll be able to link up with me, find some more of my content. So without further ado, here's Winstrol. Winstrol is the name of a synthetic anabolic DHT derivative called Stanozolol. Interestingly, this steroid is available in oral form, known simply as Winstrol, and in injectable form called Winstrol Depot. However, most people in the bodybuilding community use the word Winnie to refer to this compound, and it has grown a cult-like following, especially among the physique-oriented crowd. Guys, now as a side note, it is the exact same Winstrol hormone that is used in both the oral and the injectable preparation. There is no addition of an ester or anything like that. So you could actually drink the Winnie that would be used for injection. It's the exact same steroid and it's unchanged. It's pretty unique in that regard. All right, now, so in this article, we're going to go over the history, the anabolic and androgenic ratio, forms of delivery, how it works, benefits for an athlete, doping, dosages, half-life, detection times, side effects, stacking, cycles, cost and ease of access, female use, and I'm going to give you some links to pictures and forums where you can go discuss Winstrol at length with other users like yourself. So let's keep it going. History. Winstrol was first developed in the early 1960s by Winthrop Labs, and it is still approved by the FDA for human use, where it has the ability to treat anemia. What's more, it is also used in veterinary medicine to help with muscle growth, bone density, appetite increase, and red blood cell count. Just like with most other steroids, in the past 20 years, interest in Winstrol has grown amongst bodybuilders who use it as a cutting steroid ahead of a competition or photo shoot. Additionally, Winstrol can be simply added to a stack for its drying and hardening effects. Anabolic and androgenic ratio. Winstrol is definitely an anabolic steroid with very low androgenic activity. In fact, it boasts a 320 anabolic rating and just a 30 androgenic rating. As a reminder, we can mention that testosterone's rating is 100 to 100. Therefore, it is roughly 3 times as anabolic as testosterone and 3 times less androgenic. Forms of delivery. Winstrol is quite a unique compound since it can be taken either by oral means or aqueous suspension, which can be either injected or you can simply drink it. In fact, many prefer to drink the injectable version because the suspension injections are very painful. There are oil-based injectable versions of Winstrol, but they're rare these days. I've only seen oil-based Winstrol once in the last 5 years, and it was an underground lab. How it works. The key to understanding Winstrol's action is to keep in mind that it is a dihydrotestosterone derivative. DHT is an androgen hormone which gives males man-like features. What is especially good about DHT is that it does not convert to estrogen, and 5% of testosterone that is produced or introduced into the body converts directly to DHT. Regarding its chemical structure, the 3-keto group is replaced at the A ring of the hormone with an added methyl group to protect the compound from being obliterated by the body. This means it is a C17 alpha alkaloid anabolic steroid. Winstrol is also excellent when it comes to reducing sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG is what it's called. As a result, when it is added to a stack, you can expect a huge increase in free testosterone ratio. This is a very important property of Winstrol since it is precisely the free testosterone that matters the most. In simple terms, adding Winstrol to your existing stack makes those other steroids more effective. Benefits for the athlete. Due to the fact that there is no aromatization into estrogen, with Winstrol you get a very dry compound that is great for cutting, creating vascularity, and hardness of the muscles. Logically, it works much better for cutting if you already have low body fat. And if you have too much body fat, you will not get much benefit out of Winstrol in this regard, except for maybe some increase in strength. What's more, Stanozolol will also offset water retention from other aromatizing compounds. As you can imagine, doing this has drawbacks to your joints. We will discuss this later in the podcast. However, the pumps you get on Winstrol are incredible, making it a great choice for bodybuilders and physique competitors. In terms of performance, Stanozolol can increase power and speed without adding mass to the user. Moreover, some athletes that compete in fighting sports will use Winstrol to improve focus and get a little bit more aggression. Just as a side note, guys, when it comes to gaining strength while not gaining any weight, or gaining strength while even lowering weight a little bit, if you have a weight class you have to make, Winstrol is a really good choice. Very, very good choice. I would be careful with it if I was in any kind of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or anything like that, because it's going to make your joints brittle compared to other steroids. You are more prone to injury. But for weight class athletes, it's really great steroid. Doping. Winstrol was banned in the 1970s by the IOC and IAAF, with the most famous incidents of doping being the case of Ben Johnson, who won the 100-meter sprint at the 1998 Summer Olympics and then tested positive for Winstrol. Unfortunately, this incident caused paranoia among lawmakers, which led to the new steroid laws in the United States. As a matter of fact, there's a long list of athletes who have been busted for Winstrol use. Most likely, they were using this compound to help with fast twitch muscle fibers, causing power and speed bursts. Moreover, Winstrol will not add any weight to a person's physique while still increasing red blood cell count, which is a considerable aid for any athlete. Dosages. Due to a relatively short half-life, Winstrol should be ran on a daily basis. The oral version should be dosed 2 times per day at 25 to 50 milligrams in total, while the injectable depot version should be injected or drank every 24 to 36 hours at the same dosage. I have found that a conservative dosage works just fine when using this steroid as part of a stack, and too much of it will lead to higher chances of side effects taking place. After all, Winstrol makes the other compounds in your stack more powerful. Half-life. The half-life of oral Winstrol is about 8 hours, and the injectable version's half-life is about 1 day. Guys, just as a side note now, the half-life of Winstrol is about the same when it gets into your system. Now, it gets in a lot quicker when you ingest it. It goes right in, it's in your blood system pretty quickly. Now, when you inject it and you create a depot, the hormone crystallizes inside of the muscle as the liquid escapes the depot. You have a little bit of crystallization, which kind of slow releases the hormone from the depot in the muscle into the blood system. So while the half-life is the same for the steroid all around, you end up only having to inject once a day. Some guys back in the day used to do it every other day, while if taken orally, you do have to take it several times per day. The detection times. The detection time of oral Winstrol is 3 weeks, while the injectable can be detected during 2 months after the last pin. Therefore, it is not the best option for tested athletes. Side effects. As I mentioned earlier, the good news with Winstrol is that it cannot aromatize, so no estrogenic side effects will occur. However, it still has some side effects to be aware of. One of the most common side effects that come with increased levels of DHT is the fact that this hormone will fry head hair follicles. Sadly, there is no way to prevent this on Winstrol, as even using a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor like finasteride or dutasteride is useless here. Remember, these drugs are meant to stop the conversion of testosterone into DHT, but Winstrol is already a DHT derivative. Therefore, these drugs do not help to prevent hair loss from Winstrol. In fact, there's a reason you see most pro bodybuilders almost bald. If there was a way to prevent this from happening, they would have solved this issue a long time ago. And guys, just a side note on that, I make a product to help prevent hair loss during your steroid cycle. It's called N2 shampoo. So go to www.N2shampoo.com. and you'll be able to find N2 shampoo and where to buy it. It's a great hair care treatment to block the steroids from just frying out your hair follicles. There's good science behind it. It's been around in the market now for some 7 years, and guys love it. So check it out, n2shampoo.com. And when it comes to preventing hair loss from steroids, the faster you act, the more hair you'll keep. I didn't develop N2 shampoo until I had already lost most of my hair from steroid use and just getting older. And then it was a little too late for me. But most of you guys out there that are still young and are just getting started with steroids, make sure you use N2 shampoo with every single cycle so you'll never lose your hair to begin with. Now, continuing on with side effects. Furthermore, like most oral steroids, Winstrol is methylated, so it is liver toxic. In fact, even the injectable version is liver toxic, so it makes more sense to drink the injectable version too and avoid additional injections. Luckily, the liver can be well protected with the use of such liver supporting supplements like N2Guard. Another side effect of Winstrol that is almost universal is the dry joints, which seems to occur very quickly. This can be accompanied by crackling joints or a burning sensation around the joint. Obviously, if you dry out the joints, it would be like running an engine without oil. So using a joint support supplement is absolutely necessary. A lot of athletes will run Anadrol with Winstrol to help counteract this, but this is not a healthy way of dealing with the problem. It would be much healthier to supplement with something like N2 Joint RX, which has a lot of ingredients aimed at healing and strengthening the joints. Also, it has been scientifically proven that Ostabolic, Ostrin MK-2866, is extremely beneficial for the joints, and yet has none of the side effects seen with the nandrolones. Finally, just like all anabolic steroids, Winstrol is suppressive. Thus, you should always run a full post-cycle therapy, PCT, after using Winstrol. Stacking. As mentioned above, Winstrol binds well to SHBG, so it is a wise decision to stack the steroid in order to get the most out of it. Generally, users will combine it with something more androgenic to give it a kick. This includes Trenbolone, testosterone, or Deca. If you choose to stack Winstrol with another oral, remember that it can strain the liver big time, especially if both are liver toxic compounds. Now guys, just a side note on stacking Winstrol, there are 3 steroids that Winstrol doesn't go that well with if you use them in too high of a dosage. So those are Anadrol, Trenbolone, Deca. In my experience, if you run too high of a dose of any of these 4 with the Winstrol together, you're going to have some problems like progesterone or prolactin-like problems. Like you might lactate out of your nipples, or you might even have problems getting an erection. So if you ever stack any of these compounds together, any of these 4, just make sure you keep an eye on dosing, because using them together, you might have some issues. Cycle. If you want to see a good sample cycle of what you can do with Winstrol, head over to EliteFitness.com/articles/Winstrol-Stanozolol. And there, just scroll towards the bottom of the page under the cycle section. You'll be able to see a nice sample of a good cycle. Cost and ease of access. Stanozolol is a classic steroid, so it is a must-have for sources who are selling anabolic steroids. It is much easier to find this anabolic steroid in oral form rather than in suspension form for injection. As for the price, Winnie is on the more expensive side when compared to other steroids. So you want to make sure that you get good quality stuff, because they will change it out on you for other compounds so cheap. Female use. Although Winstrol is not very androgenic, it's still a DHT derivative. Therefore, there's a chance of virilization effects if abused or used improperly. Now, Winstrol is one of the steroids that women do use. The first one, or the main one used by women, being Anavar, but some women will use Winstrol even though it will have some more side effects, especially some hair loss or hair growth. That's very common with Winstrol. All right, guys, so that's about it for Winstrol. If you want to see some pictures and see the whole article, head on over to EliteFitness.com/articles/Winstrol-Stanozolol. And if you want to check out some more of my content, some of my other podcast articles, and if you just want to follow me and see some more of my content, make sure I head on over to www.rickyvrock.com. That's RICKYVROCK.com. Just head on over, follow me, subscribe, and we'll stay in touch. Have a good one, guys. So guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. I am not a doctor, so none of what I say should be regarded as medical advice. Please check with your doctor before taking any supplements or any drugs or engaging in any training program.